Good morning, officially. Welcome to the Market Watch Group Monday Market Kickoff. My name is Scott. I will be your host. Those of you listening at home, sorry we missed you. Hope you can make it live next time. Please remember this service is for education illustrative purposes only. We never give anything intended to be a recommendation to buy or sell any individual security or financial product. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. What are we going to do? Let's talk about those really interesting opening futures that are quite down. Good morning, Ray. Good to see you. All right. What else? What do we have this week on the economic calendar? Ultimate mess party. There it is. The mess. See, I said mistake, but mess party makes sense. Oh, good times. The tariff reveal. Mindset for open trades. Well, here's the deal. I just don't see anyone having any short-term trades that are bullish, other than I still had just one little piece of my NI trade. I'm a little nervous that I might have held it too long. But I booked some good gains along the way. It was not good, just kind of it was bullish when nothing else really was. So I'm like, hey, that worked out okay. But other than something like that, I don't, am I wrong? I would imagine you maybe have something bearish on and you maybe have some puts still on, but probably just sitting on some cash and looking for the next opportunity. We'll look at the opening range. We'll look at this week's opportunity list. We said there was actually a pretty good list of bulls, things that had surges in buying that as long as they got the smash, as long as they got the grab, we would have been okay. But now we're like, it doesn't seem like the grab is coming, at least not on this cycle. The question then is, if it accelerates now, we had some bears. We had a few things on our bear list. I put 6 things on there, 7. And again, just to remind you that you should be seeing those cultivated focus lists for each week in your Sunday email or in the Sunday post. Just got to scroll down, find the list. I'm still differentiating bull and bear until the market posture breaks out and gets back to I'd say maybe like a 2.5, 3, where we're like, oh, there we go. We feel like we've broken into bullish. We haven't. In fact, we'll even look at that. So let's just go pop in there. So here's the Friday chart. Pretty nasty looking. One of our observations was due to the volume having been escalated so much, right? From an average of 45 million down here in February to 70 million over here in March. Quite a acceleration, in fact. It wasn't above average, though I still think it was somewhat of a spike. Let's go pull up the ES so we can see what is this thing going to look like. Okay, I mean, is it catastrophic? No. Is it down 1% on the open? Yeah, it is. My thought was on my puts. My thought, if you look at the, and you might have taken some profit. Glenn put a nice message out on Friday about windfall profits and thinking about, hey, do I take a little piece off? Depending on the number of contracts you have. I think I have the SPY trade up here. Let me see. Potential pay profit 550. Where's that 550 coming from? So you can see where we're going to open. Let's go back to SPY. 550 right here at these lows. Guess where we are? 550. So if you didn't take anything on Friday, am I thinking about taking it now at its first target? Yeah, that's actually automatic for me. I'm within like 17 cents. I didn't realize we were that close. I mean, it might open there. So I might actually catch a nice piece there. So, however, if that's your only piece left, then you maybe, I don't know. I guess that's a good sell point. You just don't have anything in place if it goes lower. So, give me your thoughts. But doesn't look good as the SPY looks like it's about to retest these lows. The other part was I had a lower low. Whoops, let's go this way. There's 540. I just kind of put 10 more points, to be perfectly honest with you. That 540 is not, you're like, oh, that's great scientific. Yeah. I did see this back here, and you can see this went down to 538. So I just kind of like, letting it run and thinking of adding, Miguel said, there you go. But that's where I think a good next stop would be. And then after that, it gets real nasty. But so do we double bottom? It looks like we're going to. Do we break that and look for a new lower low? Oof, be nasty if we did. Couple of things. We're testing this low, but we're breaking this. We said if we break this convincingly, we're going to drop our long-term score, 1/4 point. So just kind of keeping an eye on that. Trump Day remains shrouded in mystery. Of course, Trump Day is shrouded in mystery. Of course it is. We would expect nothing less. Trump says reciprocal tariffs will target all countries. If you're going to start a trade war, why not start it with everybody? I mean, if you're going to do it, you go all in. I don't know. I'm just going to lean in. I'm leaning in. Let's do it. Let's trade war the world. Trump's very angry at Putin. There's a lot going on. Kami says he's with Miguel doing the same. Oh, it's... I hear what you're talking about. I didn't pull any pieces off on Friday. So if you did that, for sure. Embrace it. Embrace it. I can't. Okay, so you did take a piece. So I'm taking my first piece off at 550 this morning, it looks like. If I seem a little distracted, it might be that. What else do we know? If anyone's just popped in, I've heard the bell a few times. Good to see you. Good morning. Yeah, I mean, look, whatever news we think we have, we know we have employment news. Nothing today. No one cares about Chicago Business Barometer. Tomorrow we've got job openings. It's supposed to come flat. You know, you've got people, and here's the deal. Like, the tariffs are bad enough as they are. I've heard people aren't hiring because of the tariffs. I've not seen, this is for me is a pet peeve. I think that the labor market is full of anecdotal bullshit of everyone like, oh, it's so bad. It's this. I need the data. That's it. I'm not going to listen. I'll listen, but then I'm going to go be like, well, let's go verify that and see if the data supports it. Is there, right? And if you remember, we got, if you were here, yes, press, there was that new little indicator that SOM or something like that. I can't even remember now. And everyone was talking about it, and I'm like, hey, it seems interesting. It was like if the unemployment rate goes 0.5% above its low it triggers. It's like a recessionary trend. It's 9 for 9. And I'm like, but how many times has it come off of like the historical lowest point as its reference point? And like even the person herself actually, I believe, came out and said, yeah, I don't know that this is going to hold up. And we were like, okay, so let's just look at all the rest of our data. We looked at our weekly job list. We're like, no, we don't believe this. We don't buy it. And everyone is just in this hysteria about this whole thing. And what happened? That was like a year ago now. Nothing. So this is why even on the other side, when someone's like, oh, I think that the tariffs are... Look, there's no reason to get hysterical over it. There's enough actual problems from it. Don't create that. So for me, I'm not thinking there's that. Like right now, labor market is like the beacon of hope we have, and we're watching closely to see if it changes. And maybe we'll see it. But if you notice here, ADP is expected to mark uptick back to 120, which is maintenance. Below 50, triggered. Dang, there you go. There you go. Let me go. Give me a second here, you guys. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. Dunzo funzo. Woo! There it is. Triggered indeed. Right at the low. So now this will be an interesting one. Does this support hold? That's a tough one. The double bottom certainly could, but man, we've got nasty news. So yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting couple of days. Yeah, it's. Sorry, I just have to take one little peek here and see. Look at the little engine that could, you guys. It's up. Mark is down. This thing's up 30 cents. Just keeps on marching. Makes me so happy. Pretty good morning, actually. Pretty good morning, all things considered. If you didn't see it, what did our posture do? Nothing, actually. Oh, man, every time. I think I need a new computer. I'm like having to update more. Things aren't, I don't know. Oh, and the selling's starting to accelerate. So, okay. Did I bring it up? There it is. Long-term stayed the same. Short-term earned a quarter, dropped a quarter, stayed the same. Volume stayed the same. Major market got worse. Sector rotation stayed the same, but there was, there was some wiggle room there if someone dropped theirs, for sure. And I actually had the VIX improve based on breaking a low the prior week, though. We'll go and look and see what that looks like now, because we said if it breaks the other way, we're heading back towards 28. So let's go see if we think that's what happened. Ultimately, it was a zero, which, look, that zero is going to make a lot of sense if we do end up holding here. By the end of the day, we might. And I'll tell you this. People ask me, do I ever adjust? I have adjusted midweek. If I ever adjust my posture, I'll do a midweek. Like I'll add like a midweek and I'll mark it. We haven't done that. There's really been no need. I mean, in the markets that we've seen as a group, we've seen two corrections. We saw some bullishness. Then we saw a correction in October of 23, and then a nice bull run with a couple of dips, but nothing much. And then a correction just now, and it's been a nice bull market. Should be profitable. We should be making money. It's that simple. Now it's a little dicey. Now we're learning. Now we're really kind of like seeing what's going on here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because if we dip. If this is a nasty week and we dip, we might hit the lowest posture. The lowest the posture ever has hit as a group here, as we approach 2 years, is a minus 0.5. There's been no bear market in the last 2 years. So if we break that, are we going to be concerned as a group? Now, has my posture been below that? Of course it has. I've been doing it for 15 years. Yeah, absolutely it has. So I should probably go see if I could dig up some old, although it's, obviously it's changed and adapted over the years, but yeah, there you go. So crazy. This is, whew. Okay, so let's see what happens. We're flirting around 550. Does it hold? I think we'll have, hopefully you're open this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern for an hour. I think it'll be an interesting time to just chat about it and talk about today, talk about preparing for Trump Day, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, all right, let's go through the watch list. Quickly, if you want to know the bear candidates from this week's lists, Cisco, although I got to tell you, that's not down that bad right now. I had Cisco, and I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why. I just want you to be mindful because, yeah, that doesn't look terrible. But if you look, this is not much of an advance. A lot of things did a lot better. So when I looked at the watch list and I said, hey, what would I still maybe speculate bearishly on? Anything that didn't have that bullish smash that a lot of our things had. So if I look at this upswing and then I go like to a financial stock, although it's given a lot of it back, but if I go look at, let's say, Bank of America, and you look at what it got, those are very different prospects, right? Very different. And you'll notice that, here we are possibly, trying to put in a higher low, sorry. Don't mean to confuse you. On this trade here, I would think I've got a nice little easy take profit zone here, and then looking for that next climb up, and then maybe we look for the next one, and that's how this would trend back as it moves through the levels we've seen established anyways. Okay. Let me get to my watch lists. Let me just crank through the bear list just since we're feeling that way to some extent. I also had Google on that list, but because I'm bearish doesn't mean I can put like I feel late. I don't want to chase, If we were going to do a trade there, we're thinking about it there. Lower, high, minimal upswing, right? Now we're thinking this thing's coming towards an end, and then it's going to possibly move back up and then do it again if it's going to continue bearish. But it is the one that I have flagged that way. Let's keep going. IBM is one. IBM. Actually, I'm going to, the fact that it's starting to find some support, I'll be like, nah, I don't actually think so. So keep in mind that just because it starts on the list, there's Meta, same kind of a thing. Very similar to Google, very similar place. Reddit. You'll notice these are all communication services. None of these are looking very good. I'm very reticent to look into the communication services group right now. Here's a retail. But these are not now entries. Everything's already moved, and they're down here at the bottom. Let's go through the whole watch list. Let's just see what we think here. I'm going to go one more time to the SPY. Okay, still flirting around the opening range. We've still got 10 more minutes. We'll check on that again here in a sec. What trades do you have that you want to take a look at as a group? Let me know if anyone's interested in guinea pigging a trade. I'm going to start throwing that offer out there more to see what brave souls are willing to throw their trade out there. Apple's on my bullish list. And I think that what we see today is supported. There's the smash. Boom. Buyers. It's a pretty good move. Now what? Now the sellers are coming in. The last time they came in, they did this. From here to here. And this time, they've done this. What does that tell me? Tells me that they're not as strong. They're not done yet, maybe. But if this thing turns around, our posture is a 0. What does that mean? It means we're neutral. It means I can trade bullish things up. I can trade bearish things down. I could trade neutral things sideways. I'm pretty flexible. I'm not going to trade anything aggressively. Why would I? I'm not going to commit to an uncommitted market. But if I see a signal that I'm looking for develop like this, especially in a leader like Apple, where I'm like, hey, what's it going to take for this market to recover? I would definitely say Apple is a big piece of that story. Apple is 11% of the NASDAQ. Keep in mind, 11% of the NASDAQ is Apple. As goes Apple, so goes the NASDAQ, typically. Microsoft is not far behind. So with that recognition, if we see this type of a move, we'll be like, yeah, today's a nasty day. Yesterday, Friday was a nasty day. But overall, our posture actually indicates what? Stability. So I'm kind of looking for this thing to find support, find a double bottom. And test to see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now, obviously, if we break 550 today and we end up at 547, there's no double bottom. We broke 550. Bam, that's it. That theory's over. Be water, adjust, adapt, move forward with the next thought process. Let me actually take a quick peek at the VIX before I come over. I want to look at that now. Okay, it's a pretty good spike. Even still, if we stabilize and turn over, this high is clearly lower than this high, right? Would I still think that's a good opportunity then to confirm moving into some bullish positions for whatever reason? Yeah, absolutely, I would, 100%. That's a mark. I talk about the marks that I'm looking for. Even with the gap up today, it's still a lower high. There's been plenty of times when we were bullish where we were like, ooh, this thing is setting up. It's spiked enough that even with a pretty big pullback, it's still going to be a higher low. And so I find myself concerned in those scenarios that the market is escalating. Well, in this situation, I find myself actually slightly optimistic from this setup that the market could make a run from here. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's wait for confirmation. But I'm certainly willing to go either direction. So when you're like, oh, Scott, the market's selling off, and you're looking at Apple thinking you might, 100%. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah. AbbVie. Yeah, tried to bounce on the 50. If someone took it, they'd still be trying to see if it's going to make that run. AEE. Oh, someone liked that last week. Someone liked it. And it did give an interesting little turn with the bullish engulfing. I thought about it. What I didn't like was this kind of represents your risk level. You'd have to get your stop below the red candle on that bullish engulfing entry. But I'll tell you what, it's a great looking day today, up 2%. Fabulous. If this was you and you took the trade, you should say hello and brag about it and take a bow. Amazon. So Amazon smashed. We're like, hey, this is hopeful. This is hopeful, we said. All it has to do now is hold the grab. On Thursday, we're like, yeah, it can hold the grab. On Friday, we're like, it doesn't look good. And today, we're like, all bets are off. which means what? Which means hope of consumer discretionary contributing to a bullish recovery diminished significantly. Yeah, okay. It is what it is, right? But that's certainly certainly nasty. And certainly I would say that Trump Day is going to have a big impact on Amazon. I'm sure they do plenty of importing. Baba was on my bullish list, but it's now, and it is still like if it gets to the 50 and holds, maybe there's like a different thought process for a different type of trade. But right now, looking for this to hold and bounce just never really came to be. Though it did give a signal that if on Thursday, if someone took that trade, I'd be like, yeah, that's valid. You didn't make a mistake with the entry, but it does look like it's stopping. And then like the trade itself is just sort of falling apart. And that happens. Bank of America, we'll see if the financials, they had a huge move, financials. They gave back a pretty big chunk the first 3 days, now a little bit more on the fourth day. We'll see if they can hold up or not. BX has already failed. It's already at new lower lows. It's off the table. Caterpillar's off the table. CIEN's off the table. Boom. I mean, look across the board. Oh, CME. Hello, friend. Am I possibly thinking about a bullish trade on CME? Yeah. If I'm going to trade something, I'm going to trade something strong. CMP, someone gave me that. We only got it on Friday. No, Sunday, I think. We just got that Sunday. Was this valid? Is this a valid thing? It's strength. This is a valid trade. Whoops. Terrible line. All right, I'm just going to draw a straight line. Let's go right here. Bam. That's your trade. So you would have actually gotten Friday and today. So the 2 days that the market got beat up, Center Point made a nice little move up. Cisco, we talked about. Delta, new lows. It's Dow's looking pretty beat up here. Duke Energy. Oh, Miguel. Oh. Fastenal. That's kind of holding up actually, as a leading contender in the industrial sector, which we thought maybe a little bit of momentum might be coming into. FI. That's actually pretty strong overall for financials. If you're going to do something in financials, find the things that are holding up at the halfway points. Flex, new lows off. Fox is flagging. That is still a flag. So that's bullish. We'll treat it as such. Though it's not in a great group right now. GE Vernova, I was thinking about, but now it's kind of really, I mean, you can still make the case that it is a higher low. And if this thing turns, you could say, well, look, if it makes a run up here towards that old level, there's a good trade that could be found in there. And this thing can make pretty good moves like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens come post-Trump Day. Gilead dropped, but trying to recover. That had a nice little move. This is one we talked about. It certainly could have had an entry there, made a little bit. You would have been happy if you got out Friday. Could still have some move left in it. Gold is still looking bullish. I told you I'll stay out so that you can trade it if you want to. Google, new lows. Goldman, all the way back down almost. So, what the market giveth, the market taketh away. Robinhood looks okay still, but I don't know. We'll see what happens coming out of this. My inclination towards being willing to take a bullish trade obviously was diminished significantly based on this morning's open. Howmet, it's given a lot back. IBIT, yeah, ultimately it did roll over. It kind of looked like it was going to hold, then it popped up, then it rolled over. IBM down across the world. Yeah, maybe, right? He said everyone's going to be impacted. Everyone. ICE still looks pretty good though. The CME, ICE, right now the leaders in financials are credit, Visa, MasterCard, and markets. CME, the Mercantile, and ICE, Intercontinental Exchange. IWM, small caps are down, not looking good. Coca-Cola's popping a little bit. Kroger was the one that I looked at and that I liked. And as I say that, I recognize that cleaning the bottom of my shoes on market lows, right? That would have been the entry right there. It crossed. It gave us this. So I didn't take it. I should have taken it there if I was going to take it at all. I don't know what I didn't like about the entry. It's just kind of noisy, I guess. MasterCard back down. Meta, new lows. Morgan Stanley down. Microsoft down. Ugh, it's ugly, you guys. Netflix, it's still this low is above the prior low, but I don't know. There's Mighty Nice Source, the little trade that could. Hard to get in anything is right. Hard to want to trade, easy to overtrade. Protection. Now, is this a market that you might short-term trade? Yeah, but I don't think there's good trends. We'll look at that at the SPY here in 1 second. NVIDIA all the way back to new lows. Palantir almost back to there. A little bit of easy to sit on the sidelines. Press says, right? At least we're not like FOMOing into trades only to regret it. Q's looking nasty. IBM is green. Yesterday someone said, man, those Qs look horrible, and then look at them today. It's breaking down. Roblox actually, that to me looks like it could be something where I'd be like, oh, I don't know, that might want to make a run. Reddit down. Rocket Labs. RTX setting up maybe right there. There's a nice defense trade. We know that group's been doing well. So whether it's RTX, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, something in the defense sector. SE. No, I'm kind of... That's a retail. That's a discretionary. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Southern utility popping. Here's the market. Market's fighting back. It's fighting back. You can see. Energy has the energy, press. I agree. So we established the opening range and it held. Remember, for me, the opening range is 4 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So body of the opening range looks like this. Or excuse me, shadow looks like this. And body looks like this. What's the distinction? Right, in the zones, I'm a little bit more like, let's see what happens. But there it is. We'll see if this thing flutters around in here, or does it break to the upside? Does it break to the downside? Inquiring minds want to know. Toast. If you're going to day trade, you're going to wait for that. Right, I would say you're going to wait for that breakout of the opening range rather than just trying to jump into something. TPR is down. Tesla Tesla still has a bit of a bullish looking setup developing here. Right? It did this big smash. Now it's coming down and holding. I'm not that hopeful personally. I'm not going to trade it, but it technically that's what it shows. TSM is getting battered to the downside. Twilio. Why is IBM up? That's a good question. Twilio's down. Bullish dollar index is down. Visa looks pretty strong. So again, Visa, CME, ICE. If I'm going to do something financial, it's going to be somewhere around there. And here is Walmart. Walmart's holding up as well, actually, interestingly, today. I thought it would be a little more defensive, but it hasn't been. But it is just kind of grinding sideways. Okay, there it is. If you haven't yet, profit target has been met on, at least the first profit target's been met on SPY. So there's still some downside potential there, it seems. Not a lot of trades right now. We all kind of said we know that there's this binary event with upcoming Trump Day. Is it supposed to be pre-market? Does anyone know what time Trump Day starts formally? Is there like a schedule of events? Is there going to be bands or food trucks? So what's going on with Trump Day? Does anybody know? Like what time the announcements come? Are they pre-market so the market just is like, or is it like a rolling release that the market will just sort of domino through? I really need to know how Trump Day is going to work, and maybe what kind of snacks to prepare. So if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. Okay, trading plan outline. We've worked on. Good to see you, Sandy. We've worked on personal info. We've worked on market forecasting. So we're on loop 2 for this year. If you're new, we loop 8 weeks. Every 8 weeks, this thing just loops around. Totem the Holbers next. We just finished our market forecasting section, and now we've moved on to trading systems. And people are like, what do you mean trading systems? Well, what I mean is these are your trading rules, but rules should be organized according to systems. You can't just have a bunch of trading rules. You need to organize it and say, oh, what's my system? This is a bounce system. The setups, the entries, the stops, the targets are all based on that. Versus what? Versus if you have a breakout system or a continuation trade system, or you might trade some sort of technical patterns, moving average crossovers, Bollinger Band breakouts, whatever, right? Whatever the system is, that's going to have a set of rules. It's going to have what stocks make sense to apply it to. It's going to have entries and stops and targets and timeframes and take profits and all the things that you're going to use to execute that system. When you keep records, if you look at our record keeping, you'll notice that there's a place. Habanero poppers and crab cakes. That actually sounds quite delicious, actually. That's on the vote. But yeah, when you designate a trade in your trade log, you're going to mark it so that you can eventually isolate and say, hey, let me look at my bounce trades only. How's that system do? You might realize, holy crap, I'm really good at bounce trades. Why don't I do them more and do less of these? And you might look at your breakout trades and be like, I'm a break-even breakout trader. I'm great at bounces. So what do you think? This is actually my own story. This is exactly what I found out. I stopped trading breakouts. I said, oh, you know what? When it breaks out, I'm just going to wait for it to pull back and test. Because when I catch it, I catch it sometimes, I don't sometimes, and I can either sit and try to tweak that system or just bail and wait for the next trade to become a bounce. Chili con carne. Okay. Excellent suggestions. I'm oh, I love it. All right. Perfect for Trump Day indeed. It's good to see everybody. As I said, this is going to be an important week for us to hang out. So try to make some time to make a cocktail and hang out. We used to call it cocktail hour, just so you know. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Mondays. Used to be cocktail hour. We'd like make a drink, sit down. I still do sometimes. I might be drinking. You don't know. Might make it more exciting. But come hang out. Let's talk about it. And then Tuesday, both Glenn and I will be here in the evenings, and then normal schedule for Trump Day. It's good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully I'll see you later today. If not, later tomorrow. As always, happy trading.
Recording.